Hey everyone, in this video we are going to see what is ArgoCD and why is it so well known CD tool while working with Kubernetes. If you are new to this channel, I am Kavile Koparkar. I make content around open source, DevRel and CNCF ecosystem. So let's get started. So before heading into these terms and stuff, I wanted to quickly mention that this video is in continuation with the DevOps simplified playlist that I'm trying to run and trying to make DevOps simple for everyone. So if you haven't checked and have no idea about what is Kubernetes, Docker and stuff, the videos are already there. You can check the links into this description, and I will highly encourage you to check out the videos first and understand them first in order to understand and fully gain whatever I'm trying to say in this video. So let's get started. So there's a simple definition for ArgoCD, that ArgoCD is a declarative GitOps tool based on Kubernetes. So these are like three main keywords that comes with ArgoCD's definition, and let's see them one by one. So what does the declarative means? So let's take an example. Say suppose it's you, and now you want three cotton candies, right? So one like first one should be pink, second one should be yellow, and third one should be red. Cool. And you tell this to the cotton candy maker, and the cotton candy maker, this is the cotton candy maker, uh, the uncle, anyone. And now it's their headache to make cotton candies such that the first one you get is pink, the other one is yellow, and third one is red, right? So you don't need to tell, so you just mention your expectations, right? Your expectations and the expected results, and you get them. How that is done is not your headache and not your thing to specify. It will be taken care of by the candy maker to how to make it and stuff. So it will be entirely handled by this. It will make sure that whatever is your requirements, it is meeting the end result, and that's what declaratives meant. So you mention your requirements and things you need, and you get the output. How that is done is not your concern, and yeah, that is the definition of declarative. Next thing that comes is that is GitOps. So we have seen uh, declarative and now GitOps. So GitOps means, so in like before, what used to happen is you write your code to GitHub, then you test it, then you build it, dockerize it, then create manifest file out of it, then push it to cluster, and now it is able to distribute to, and people can actually use it, right? So the GitOps, that means is you just have to like push your code or to GitHub and something, and then the rest of the things will be taken care of by Git. So this is like automation that happens, and once you push the code to GitHub, the and how you put your automations together, like the operations and automation, the operations will be taken care with the help of automations by the help of Git. So you just have to do one thing and everything else will be done automatically, and your end users will be able to use your applications. So that's what the GitOps is all about. The Git takes care of all the operations, and why K8s we will see, and that's the main reason of this video and ArgoCD. Like why is it like based on Kubernetes? So let's take an example in general scenario. So if you are working with, say suppose uh, Jenkins, so first you write your code, it is on GitHub, then test it, then build Docker file out of it, then create manifest files, then use kubectl and other like API servers to like put it on Kubernetes cluster, and that's what is taken care of by the Jenkins or other CI/CD tools, right? So Okay, let's do this. Taking the same, right? So once your application, like it's like the Docker file is created, you create manifest files, and now like it is not there on the same like repository, right? So the server and cluster is somewhere else, so you need to connect to it in order to push these changes to it. And now what you have to do is you have to provide all like the secrets and stuff, and you have to configure it separately because you are trying to push authentications, and you have to take care if it's failing or something like that. You have to make sure the security issues that comes with it, because obviously if this is like somewhere else and this is somewhere else on your git like Jenkins, and here, so if you are trying to push it, then there should be security, and you have to take care a lot of the security stuff here in order to make it completely available, right? But now what happens is, like in general and like in best practice scenario, what we do is we prefer that the wherever the code is written and the manifest file should be separately maintained. So this is one repository and this is another repository. So these two are maintained separately different, because obviously, so say suppose you want to change your pod or replica set from 3 to 5, that doesn't have to be dependent on this, right? So it doesn't have to be dependent on like your code or anything. Like Docker file remains the same and everything remains the same, just this is changing. So you don't want your CI pipeline, the testing, building, etc. to run again. So these two are maintained separately, and that's where it helps ArgoCD a lot, because let me just clear this. So what happens now is you push your code, it it is tested, it is built, Docker file is created, right? And after the Docker file is created and like Docker file is created and pushed to Docker Hub and stuff, then what it does is, so it is basically done by say suppose Jenkins or GitHub Actions, anything, any CI or other tool, and then so this is pushed to another repository where the manifests are created, and then manifests are affected. So if I just go here like this, manifest, so it's here, the manifest is in like different repository, the manifests are created and updated, and now there is your cluster, this is your cluster. Again, we create a separate namespace here for ArgoCD general. So now what it does is you configure and add like there are some specifications you give to your ArgoCD, and you point ArgoCD to a repository where this file is. So it checks, so this is the file and all the manifests, so I will just point it with white color. So this is the repository, different repository. So here all the manifests are there, and here are different files for deployment and services and stuff. And now you point ArgoCD to this repository, and then it pulls on like a certain time. So generally it's 3 minutes, but you can change that. But this works on pull mechanism. So if you go ahead into the first, here it was push mechanism, so you are trying to push it, here you are trying to push it, and that's where you need to take care of what is getting pushed into this, correct? And now what you are doing here is you are doing pull, so you just see, you keep a track here. So what if something changes here, then it gets pulled by ArgoCD, and now then it's applied to whatever pods and stuff are there. So this is how ArgoCD works. It works on pull mechanism. So it just, you have to point it to a correct repository first, and correct file, and then it will do the rest for you. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the advantages of ArgoCD. I have mentioned them earlier, but to keep it like specific. So first one is single source of truth, which is your GitHub repository. I will explain it, what does that mean. Then second is easy rollback. The third one is cluster disaster recovery, and the next is Kate's access control. Cool. So let's see all of them one by one. So single source of truth, that means is, say suppose here you mention that there should be two pods. There should be two pods running at all time. You mentioned it, but for some reason it happens that it becomes 3, right? So now, if ArgoCD will always check what is the desired state and what is current state, and this is not at all matching each other, right? So where it will check that what is the required state, where it will check, here it is showing repository is showing 2, the cluster is having 3, what is the truth? So your GitHub repository like stands as a single source of truth. So if here 2 is mentioned, ArgoCD is okay, the truth says there should be 2, here is 3, so I will cut it down to 2, and now we have 2. If it goes some time to 5, it will see, hey, there should be 5 pods running, there should be 2 pods running, there are 5 pods running, I will cut down to 2. Why? Because this is the single source of truth. Whatever is written in GitHub repository, you will always get it outside, and if any time it seems that something is changing into the cluster, then it will check here and then do accordingly. So this is what single source of truth is called. Easy rollback, say suppose this is easy one. Say suppose you have, let's take a website, and you have a button here, and that some problems occur and the button goes up here. Now you are easily able to roll back to your previous self. So say suppose this was 1.0 and 1.1, so you are able to roll back easily to your previous setup, something like that. Or any error goes here, you are able to easily go back, because the Git stores all the versioning, right? Git is a version control system or tool, so it saves all the versioning, so you are able to switch between versions and stuff and easily roll back. Cool. Then the next thing is cluster disaster recovery. So this is done. Cluster disaster recovery, say suppose you have your repository, right? You have your repository, and say suppose this is your cluster, Kubernetes cluster. Cool. And for some reason this goes down. Here this cluster was pointed to this repository. This cluster goes down. Now you are easily able to spin up another cluster and just point it to the same repo, and your application is up again. You see, here the cluster went down, and now you are in within very less time you are able to spin up a different cluster, because your repository is intact, and whatever the desired states you need is recorded here and not on the cluster. So if it was on cluster first, then you will have to take backups and rely on backups and stuff, but here it's defined in the file and stuff, and you can just point and create as many clusters as you want. To be honest, you can create different clusters, so scalability is handled here as well. So you can actually just point and create as many clusters as you want. And Kate's access, so this is a source of single source, and you have created it. And if you are a Kubernetes cluster, so first there was security issue, you might face the authentication and everything you have to do, but here you yourself point to the repository. So as a Kubernetes cluster admin, you know what you are doing and you can point it to the resource and stuff, and you don't have to worry about Kate's access because it's just pulling the changes from here. So yeah, that's all are the advantages, and you can think of them as the features of ArgoCD. So let's go ahead and see it in the form of demo and how you can actually use them to implement whatever you're trying to deploy. So the files which we are going to use for this tutorial are already there on the link. The link will be in the description, and like as we say, this is like a generalized diagram. So you push it to GitHub, it pulls on Argo, and it syncs with your Kubernetes cluster, and the files are here. So let's go to VS Code and see. Let's check if my minikube is running. So we are going to use minikube in this tutorial. So minikube is not running. Let's start is okay. Our minikube is up and running. Let's see kubectl get all and see, you can see the services kubectl get namespace, and these are the default namespace that we get. And yeah, this is the same. I have the cloned version. If you want, you can go ahead and clone this for yourself and run it. So there are some things you need to know. So before, whenever we wanted to apply some things to our or add deployments and service to our Kubernetes cluster, what we used to do is Kubernetes kubectl apply and the file name, and which is here. So say suppose if you wanted to apply this deployment, we will go ahead and apply this, then go ahead and apply this service. But here we don't do this. Instead, we create a separate file where we put like this API version ArgoCD. We create an application, and here we mention the repository. So see, repository URL, this is the URL. So this code is obviously on GitHub already, so that's why I mentioned it here. If you do not have that, you can just use the same file, it's already there. And now see here, it is not on my root, so path is ArgoCD. Where are my files located? So on ArgoCD inside dev. So this is the path that I give inside ArgoCD dev. If it is there on my, say suppose Kubernetes here, I'll just give here Kubernetes slash or just Kubernetes. That's it. Where the files are located, where my deployments and other files are located, I will just mention them here. Here it's in ArgoCD slash dev. So I have mentioned it here and nothing more. Destination, what namespace you want, we will create this in short while. No need to worry about it here. And okay, it's done. Namespace is there. Cool. Let's go ahead and create two namespaces because see, we have mentioned it here what namespace we want. This metadata is and stuff. So these two namespaces. So kubectl create namespace ArgoCD and kubectl create namespace WMD. I have created two namespace. So get namespace, and see, here we are able to get ArgoCD, where we will install our ArgoCD pods and stuff with the help of Helm. Helm video is already created. You can check that out from the link in the description below. And this is where this namespace is where our application will run. This is a simple application. We make devs website application. You can check that out. Service and everything is there already. So let's clear it and let's install ArgoCD. So for installing ArgoCD, we definitely need some commands and stuff, and it's already there on one of my blogs. So I have already written this blog on ArgoCD with whatever I have explained right now. Everything is documented in here. So the again, link will be in the description. You can check that out. And let's go ahead. We have created namespace already. Let's copy this. Also, you can get this same commands and stuff from ArgoCD official documentation. So it's same everywhere, so you can go ahead and do that as well. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's do that. Let's hit enter and it will start installing it. Cool. Now ArgoCD is there. Let's go ahead, get all understand ArgoCD, and you will get everything. Here also you need to see one thing. So here you need to see this ArgoCD service. We will ArgoCD server. We will come back to it why I just searched it. So let's go ahead and apply our application. So we have our namespace already created, and here is our application, but we, as I said, we don't really directly work with this. Our manifests are created, deployment and service, but we don't need it. We go to application where everything is mentioned already, and head and stuff, and let's go ahead and apply this. So kubectl, let me just go into ArgoCD first, and okay, here, okay, so kubectl apply -f, and its name is application .yaml. See, now our application is running on like ArgoCD, and it will take care of everything. Let's go ahead and check that out. So uh, get all, let's go ahead, okay, get all and wmd, let's see our application, see our application service, and everything is here. Now why did I see the ArgoCD service? So the ArgoCD UI is really cool, and I will show you why. Keep in mind, only file that we have applied is this one. We did not just apply this too, but it actually went here. So even if I delete these files from here right now, it will still be able to, we will still be able to see it here, because it is there on my GitHub repository, and it pulled it from there. Now let's go ahead and see the ArgoCD UI which I was talking about. Back and like get services from the ArgoCD. I will show you why I am doing the same. So if you go to server, ArgoCD server, you can actually see this is on 443 port. So that's why we are doing port forwarding from 443 to our 8080, right? So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, port forward service ArgoCD server and 8080 from namespace ArgoCD, and let's wait for it. Now it has started the forwarding. Cool. Let's go ahead to our browser, and let's search localhost 8080, right? And now we will be able to see the, okay, now we go to show details, and because this is not HTTPS, that's why it's showing the warning. Yep. So now we will have to log in, obviously. So the getting the password is bit different in ArgoCD, but let's do that. Okay, uh, here is, so admin, the password we have to do a bit differently. So if you go here and like take a different uh, uh, terminal, and now we have to go ahead and do get secrets. Let's go ahead and let me show you the secret here of namespace ArgoCD. See, there are 3 secrets, and we will take the initial admin secret. So we will get whatever is there in it. So secret uh, secret admin ArgoCD initial admin secret /n namespace ArgoCD. Let me just do it like this, -o YAML, so it will show in the form of YAML. And now you got password here. So just remember, this is not the actual password which will work. You have to decode it first. So let's copy this password. I have copied this password, and let's go ahead to with the command echo paste our password, then go with bar. Let's just give space bar, base 64 minus decode, and this should give us a decoded password. Copy this, not the %sign. I don't think that will get copied, but just to make sure, I will just tell it don't copy the percentage. And password, I will just paste it here, then click on sign in. See, now we have logged into our ArgoCD dashboard. See, now we are able to see the application here, and guess what? It is able to show the map of our application. See, this is the like small map that is created with our application. So if we go here, you can actually see this is my application with this service. This service is attached to my other services with 5 pods. So if we go back to our application here, and if we go to the deployment, you will actually able to see there are 5 replicas, right? There are 5 replicas here. Cool. So let's see if we change this 5 replicas or change this manifest file and push it to GitHub, will it able to be fetch here? And if you want, you can like the syncing is done like 3 minutes, but if you want, you can just click sync here and just synchronize, and it will check this repository. See, synchronizing application manifests from this GitHub repository, and it will just sync and show if there are changes. This heart means the health of your pods and stuff, so it will show you if anything is going down or configured correctly, something like this. See, app is healthy, sync is okay, and it will be able to show you, see, statistics, and we will come back to it. Let's go ahead and see if we are able to see. Let's do it three pods. Cool. And it will not change here right now because it is taking from our Kubernetes, not Kubernetes, the GitHub repository. So even if I change it here, if it was here, so okay, get pods minus n wmd. See, there are still 5 pods running even if I'm 3, but because it is not pushed right now, so I will just quickly push it. See, now we have applied this change, so now our ArgoCD should be able to see that. See, causes the network offline, origin is not allowed, access control. Let's see what issue we are facing. Let's try to synchronize. It will detect the changes in the repository, and it will sync it up here. Let's go ahead and check out other features until then. So here we are able to get, so see the like the cluster, it's running on minikube. You are able to see architecture and stuff. See, pods, 5 pods are running. It will take 3 minutes. See, now there are 3 pods that we can see are running, and you can actually see my last commit, like replica sets changed, and now there are 3, as you can see. If you go to different features, say suppose this, then you can actually see the pod, their health. Then this representation, you can actually see this service is serving like 3 pods as we want, and you can actually see how many are up running. Currently they are running, so see, you will able to see the health here once that is done. Cool. So as I said, see, the health of the pods is good, and the application is overall healthy. And if I just try to delete this pod here, the state will be changed for the application. The state will be changed, and see, I deleted one on my repository. There were 3, so now it's been spins up one more pod instead of the other one, and now my 3 pods are running. That's how it checks and syncs all the information we want from the repo itself, and self like heals rollback. You can do the rollbacks. And yeah, now you can see the pods, the CPU, the memory usage. It gives you small little statistics as well. Again, these 3 pods are getting the information. Yeah, and that's all about ArgoCD, and you can actually go ahead and work like try out with multiple and complex service architectures and stuff, and let me know in the comments below whatever next you will like to see. Yeah, that's all for this video. That's all for ArgoCD. And check out the links in the description. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you want. That really helps support the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.